So right now, search crews around the world trying to track down a submersible that disappeared, leaving the 5 people inside with less than 48 hours worth of oxygen. The crews headed 13,000 feet underwater to see the wreckage site of the Titanic on Sunday morning. But within 2 hours of its descent, the sub lost contact with its support ship. And now search crews using every resource they can to find the lost craft. And another troubling detail is that this wasn't a submarine. It is called a submersible that can't actually get itself back to port on its own. And that means the crews need to find it and fast. Let's check in with Doug Luzader joining us live from Washington, D.C., tracking this story for us. Doug, good morning to you. And this is not the first time that someone has dived to the Titanic wreck. And we've heard from experts on what could have gone wrong here. What are we learning?
Well, the search effort continues. This is a combined search by the U.S. Coast Guard, assisted by the Canadian Coast Guard. And, this is in a remote part of the globe. It's about 435 miles off the coast of Canada, but more significantly, it's also potentially more than 2 miles deep. And it's that depth that creates such, crushing pressure. And this is one of the few vessels on the globe that can reach that kind of a depth, which, raises a kind of discomforting question, which is, if this thing is somehow located on the bottom of the ocean, how do you get it back up? Now, it's also possible that they may have been able to release a ballast, and in fact, this thing floated to the surface, and we just haven't found it yet. That would probably be a best-case scenario. It's also possible that it may have imploded, just given the kinds of pressure. We just don't know, but there is both an air search where they're looking for this thing or any remnants of it floating on the ocean, and there's also a search underwater, and they're using sonar buoys to see if they can hear anything. But even under the best of circumstances, this has very limited communication capabilities. So, at this point, finding this thing is going to be extremely difficult, and rescuing any potential survivors will be very complicated.
Absolutely. And if crews do find this submersible, I mean, you touched on it, it's going to be really tough to retrieve this thing. I mean, it's not like you can take another submersible, go down there, and somehow pull it back to the surface, right?
Well, there's been talk about sending down a remotely operated vehicle to see if they can locate it. And as I mentioned, it's one thing to locate it. It's something else to potentially bring it to the surface. But that assumes that it is found intact. And they don't have a whole lot of time. There's just a couple of days left of air here. And it gives them a little bit of time to search. But given, how vast the ocean and how deep the ocean is at that location, this is going to be very difficult.
And you touched on it a moment ago, a 48-hour timeline. That's the amount of oxygen they have in the submersible. Do we know how the plan would change in a recovery mission after that timeline?
Well, I would assume they would still continue to search for it to some degree. But they certainly hope to find this while there is still a viable oxygen supply on board.
Doug Luzader live in Washington, D.C. this morning. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks.